What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Double B here, back with another video. Before we get started, just like to ask you guys to like this video and subscribe. And we're going to do something a little different here today. If you could just drop a comment, you can just comment the number 1. Much appreciated. Just will help the algorithm and help reach more people. So, yeah, before I get into Thursday Night Football picks, I have 2 player props and I have 1 ladder pick. It's still a player prop, so 3 total player props. But we'll do a quick recap of how this night went for basketball. Definitely was not the best night. So last night I made a video for the NBA. Brandon Ingram was my add-on pick. He ended with 20. I had him over at 22.5 points, so he fell short. Jalen Brunson over 2.5 threes. That hit. Jalen Suggs, it needed him to get over 18.5 points. He finished with 15. Just a shot attempts was not there. Chet Holmgren was very frustrating. He ended with 25 PNRAs, or just PNR, points and rebounds. He definitely should have had more. He got in foul trouble early, and he didn't pick it up the second half. He had a really bad first half, so that was unfortunate. And Jason Tatum, I'd played his points ladder from 30 to 45, so he cashed his 30, but did not. He had ended with 32, so did not get 35, 40, or 45. So the 30 pretty much broke us even with that ladder, but yeah, like I said, so not the best day, but it happens. Definitely looking forward to turning it around with Thursday Night Football's picks. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. The first pick here is going to be Joe Burrow over 265.5 pass yards. I know last time I checked on FanDuel it was at 268.5. So shop around, see what best line you can get on other sports books. It's probably around 268, 267, maybe even 269s. I would really play this up until probably like 270, 271. I even saw like up to 275 really, but I really like the spot here. Like I said, I locked this in 2 days ago, pretty much right when the line dropped. So the Ravens allow the most passing yards. They allow 301 passing yards a game to QBs. He's only hit this over in 2 games so far this year, and one of them was against Baltimore where he threw 392 yards. And yes, T. Higgins was there, and T. Higgins is doubtful for this game, but I'm not really worried about it. They should be playing from behind. They are 6.5-point dogs. He threw for 251 passing yards last week against the Raiders, and that was the game they led the whole way. They won by 17 points. And Chase Brown ran the ball 27 times, and he still threw the ball 40 times, and he threw for 251 yards. So I think the game script is going to be completely different here. I think they're going to be playing from behind a lot, or at the very least, the game will be definitely close. They won't be blowing the Ravens out like they were blowing out the Raiders, so I don't see Chase Brown running the ball 27 times. So I think Joe Burrow is going to have to throw the ball a lot in this game, and like I said, it's a great matchup. Like I said, I would like it better if T. Higgins was playing. I know he's not, but again, as you guys will see in my later pick, you'll see who one of my favorite guys on the Bengals this weekend to target, or this Thursday, not this weekend. But yeah, that's my first pick, Joe Burrow over 265.5 passing yards. My next play here is going to be the ladder play. So it is going to be Rashad Bateman, his ladder up to 80 yards. So his straight on FanDuel, I played for a unit at 28.5. So over 28.5 yards. That's a unit. I threw a half unit on 50 plus on DK, and a quarter on his 80 plus. So you see here the 50 plus was 295, and the 80 plus was plus 1200. I also did add on to this as well. I did add another quarter on his 70 plus on DK for plus 750. So it's the 28.5, 50 plus, 70 plus, and 80 plus. Just skip the 60 because I didn't really see a lot of value there. So basically, he had 58 yards earlier this year against Cincinnati with 8 targets, and that was with T. Higgins here in the game. Cincinnati's been getting killed by wide receiver twos all year long. His last 2 games they were pretty quiet. I think he had like 25 and like 23 receiving yards. But the 3 games before that, he put up 58 yards, which was against Baltimore, and then 71 and 121. So I think he's definitely due to have another type of big game like that. Like, he's a very boomer bust player. He can have a 20-yard game or he can have 120 yards. So I think he's due for a big game. I think this is a great matchup for him to kind of get right. Dante Johnson there doesn't really scare me. He didn't even get a target last week, and this is coming up off of a short week. I don't think much will change. I'm sure he'll probably be a little bit more involved, but again, don't think it's really going to take much away from Bateman. Now, Isaiah Likely is out for this game. Not really sure if that will, help Bateman at all, but it's still a body that they're missing in the receiving game. So I really like Bateman. Definitely my favorite ladder play for Thursday Night Football. And then I will get to my last play right here, which is going to be Mike Gesicki over 49.5 receiving yards. So yes, earlier as I was saying, this is my favorite guy to target on the Bengals this week. Jamar Chase, I know he's a popular play. His line's at 79.5 yards. I usually stay away from him because without T. Higgins, because this year he hasn't gone over his receiving prop when T. Higgins is out. You'd think it would be the other way around, but no. He puts up way better numbers when T. Higgins is actually in the lineup. Teams just look to double team and just completely neutralize Jamar Chase out of the game when T. Higgins isn't there, because obviously a lot easier to do that without T. Higgins. So that's what they usually do, and Jamar Chase, he still gets tons of targets. He still puts up, some type of yards, sure. But I'd rather just pivot with Mike Gesicki. Because with 3 out of 4 games this year without T. Higgins, last week he put up 100 yards. The week before that he put up, I think it was 73. And then the other week without T. Higgins earlier this year, he put up 91 yards. The other game where because the other game he had 18 yards, but that was the first game of the season against New England. But Cincinnati just stunk in general. That game was the first game of the season. But like I said, those other 3 games, 91, 73, and 100 yards. On top of that, the Ravens have allowed the most receiving yards to tight ends this year. So I expect Gesicki to be heavily involved. Also, without T. Higgins this year, he has a 24% first read target share. So that basically just means when they hike the ball at Joe Burrow, he's looking for Mike Gesicki first 24% of the time. So I really like that spot. Also, Eric Hall, their rookie tight end, actually tore his ACL last game. So that's another body that they're missing. He was pretty much the backup tight end in the receiving game for them. They have Tanner Hudson, they have Drew Sample, but they're not going to be taking targets from Mike Gesicki. So I'm not worried about that. This line I know has moved up to, I believe, 52.5 last time I checked on FanDuel. Again, shop around, get the best odds. This line was a little lower. It was like 47, I believe, 46, was somewhere in the mid 40s. But I was waiting to see if T. Higgins was going to be playing or not. Once he got announced he was doubtful today, I hopped on Mike Gesicki, because if T. Higgins was going to play, I was going to hammer Jamar Chase. Not saying Jamar Chase will have a bad game. I can still see Jamar Chase putting up good numbers. Wouldn't surprise me if he has a 100-yard receiving game. Again, I would like that because I'm on Joe Burrow's passing yards, so still think Jamar Chase will have a solid game, but I think you're getting way better value with Mike Gesicki here in a great matchup. So those are my 3 picks. Like I said, the 2 player props, and then the 3rd player prop is a ladder. So that 3rd player prop is 2 units total risk on that, by the way. So like I said, it's the 1 unit on the 50 plus, half on the 50, or the 1 unit on the 28.5, half unit on the 50 plus, and then a quarter on 70 plus and 80 plus. But yeah, the other 2 plays are of course for 1 unit. So peep the pinned comments. If I add any more plays, that's that is where the added plays will be. They will of course be on my Twitter as well. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's WB_picks. I will have the link in the bio down below in the description. But other than that, appreciate you guys watching. Definitely stay tuned for more videos. If you like this video, be sure to like and comment the number 1 down below. So without any further ado, I'm going to wrap this video up. Best of luck tomorrow, guys. Peace.